Okay, so this should be our final prediction for the second and third fire signs of 1 Kings 18, which fire signs basically cause World War III, which is a war between the he-goat of Russia and the she-goats in coalition with the he-goat. The she-goats being the BRICS nations and possibly Germany, and possibly Turkey, possibly Iran, and they're fighting against the UK-US axis, the Five Eyes axis, which is the RAM. The RAM is a coalition of countries with Christian constitutions. The goats are countries which may be Christian. Russia is a Christian country really, but they do not have a Christian constitution. Hence, from a national standpoint, from a sort of corporate standpoint, they are a goat. The goat wins and then gets its horn broken, and then the four she-goats take over. It's the greater story of Alexander the Great. Daniel 8 is the story of Alexander the Great, but it's also the story of Putin I hesitate to call him great, but it's the story of what we're presently seeing in Ukraine and how it progresses. It's the last war mankind ever fights, because World War I was fought man against man. World War II was man running a machine against machines controlled by men. World War III is really about machines controlled by computers. And World War IV, which doesn't exist, would be the Star Trek version, which was computer fighting computer. But we realise that war is a negative-sum game. If we should realise it already. Just look at Ukraine. I mean, all the work put into building those buildings and living those lives, destroyed for what? So that some idiot can have a bit more political control rather than some other idiot. What difference does it make? What a ridiculous thing to be doing. It's not a question of there might have been war crimes. War is a crime. If you instigate it, it's not the way to resolve a conflict, and we need to learn that lesson, and regrettably not enough people have learned it, and God is going to give us the opportunity to learn that lesson. Anyway, the fire signs are tonight. It's the 10th so of Pentecost, which is Nisan 5, or Nisan 4, or Nisan 6 if it's the 7th Sabbath of the Pentecost, or the Super Pentecost thereafter. So it's April 5 to 8. And today's April 4, so it's from sunset tonight, which is Tuesday, to sunset Friday is Nisan 4, 5, 6. The Sabbath is Nisan 7. And then the third fire sign is Nisan 21 to 23. I mean, it's really the late 5th 2NC Pentecost, because the alienation times, the LW 2NC alienation times, runs from our appointment over the 2NCs as Isaiah Zoa, which was 2014. ADAR 21, this must sound like double Dutch to most people. Our second New Covenant is 2NC. Zoa is the final church, a non-Adamic church. And Isaiah is a form of non-Adamic. I mean, there are three patriarchs of Israel, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Actually one of Israel, but three of circumcised people. And they stand in a greater meaning for the citizens, the priests and the saints. And this church is presently Isaic. So when you become non-Adamic, when you're restored to what Adam lost, a body that isn't under a death sentence, a human body that is. When we get an Edenic restoration, you first of all become Abrahamic due to the first Abrahamic covenant, then you become Isaic due to the Isaic church covenant, and if you are water baptized, and you become eventually you become Melchizedek if you're a citizen, and Melchizedek had a non-aging body, and you become Methuselahan if you're a priest because Methuselah had a non-aging body as well. So these are the two non-aging human bodies in the kingdom of God. You become a Methuselahan version of yourself, or a Melchizedek version of yourself. This is how you're born again a second time from your mother. Anyway, it's So those are the two fire signs at the two Pentecosts. And the third fire sign is really at the late version of the end of the LW2NC alienation times, which was 2021 VADAR 21. The late version of that, which is the fifth 2NC Pentecost, is the late fifth 2NC Pentecost, and that's Nissan 21, which is April 22, 23. It's the Sabbath, actually. And we meet, we hope, we think, and we interpret that we meet the... Oh, so as I sit here, if I'm not mistaken, and I usually am mistaken, all the two NCs are already in the ark, except for the Lord's witnesses who couldn't go up when the other two NCs did. These are the Second New Covenant kings and queens from churches all over the world, and even from mosques, I think. People who God has chosen to run one of the 144,000 kingdoms of the kingdom of God. The problem with this world being that one man has power over too many people. It's no good having a president of the US running 300 million people, or president of Russia, or even of Britain. This is no good. One man cannot be trusted to rule 50, 100, 200, 300 million people. He can't be trusted to rule 100,000 people. In the kingdom of God, we will be trusted to rule 100,000, not several million. These are false flag, actually, fire signs, arranged by globalists, we think. I mean, they're arranged by, actually, the two-horned beast of Revelation 13. We interpret. And I've been predicting them ever since 2006 ER1, so for 17 years. We're now Nissan 4. Nearly 17 years I've been predicting these things for. 16 years, sorry. Nearly 16 years I've been predicting these things for. I've been wrong for 16 years about 700 times. Now, it looks very much like I'm right. So we shall see. So we are predicting that there will be a mushroom cloud above the sea, above either the Thames or above the Hudson. And we are predicting it for any time from sunset Tuesday to sunset Friday of this week, which is April 5th to April 8th. And then we're predicting a further incidence of the same thing above the other river. One's above the Hudson, the other's above the Thames. So the second of these two clouds above rivers, mushroom clouds above rivers, will occur April 22 to 25, which is starting on Friday, April the 22nd, and going to Monday, April the 25th. And this should be my last such prediction. Thank you.